Xiao Ao Jianghu 2023 Introduction. Introduction. Ling Huchong, the chief disciple of the Huashan Sect, is idle all day long but likes to meddle in his own affairs. Until one day while shopping. Dear friends, please click in. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Explain the following 2.1. Internal power and true qi. In short, internal strength refers to strength and motivation. Strengthen and significantly improve the original moves and techniques, with specific improvements depending on the strength and density of the internal energy. For example, after learning the 9 Yang manual, a special skill to strengthen internal power, even if you use the most common moves, as long as you stimulate internal power, you will be equally powerful. True qi is used to assist internal power or provide self-recovery ability, so most martial arts novels use it to save people. Once true qi is lost, the person will be vulnerable to a single blow. 2. Weapon issues. Weapons, like martial arts techniques, can be classified into 3, 6, or 9 levels. Good weapons such as the Heaven Sword and Dragon-slaying Saber, among others, are all deliberately depicted weapons in this article. P.S. The embroidery needle of the cult leader is just an ordinary silver needle. Don't carry it, even the second female lead didn't use any weapons. Come in and take a look, folks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 1. Regarding the appearance of the second female character, Luo Yuan. Don't assume that Luo Yuan's appearance is relatively late. In fact, the plot of the entire article has progressed by less than 1/10. In addition, the second female character plays a crucial role in promoting the entire article, especially in the middle and later stages. It can be said that without the second female character, there would be no follow-up. 2. Regarding the character setting of the second female character, Luo Yuan. The 9 manual cultivation conditions in this article are 3 women, year, month, day, no time, but actually the constitution of the second female is 4 women, year, month, day, time, which will be explored one by one later. 3. Is it still a problem with the character design of the second female lead? Have you noticed any point that women with extremely constitution should have a personality that is as indifferent as a cult leader? But in reality, the character of the second female character is gentle like water. When something in the world reaches its limit, it will overturn all previous cognition. As the saying goes, things will turn upside down when they reach the extreme. Speaking of which, there must be someone who wants to ask again. If the leader has such a cold personality, then she is the 4 Yang woman. You can guess for yourself about this. It's inconvenient to explain with a smile, hee. 4. Regarding the timeline issue. All timelines in this article are consistent and have no errors. For example, it has been half a month since Chong climbed the Sigua cliff, and the sect leader is still holding a meeting with the elders. Have you ever understood when I explained it this way? If you have any questions or suggestions, remember to reply to this chapter, and a smile will answer them one by one. Come on. Time flies like water. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Little sister, is it fun here? After watching the program here, will Master Brother buy you tomatoes on sticks? Ling Huchong touched his chin and said thoughtfully. Well, Master Brother, but I want to eat tomatoes on sticks. Well, I also want to eat crispy cakes. Well. Before Yu Lingshan finished speaking, Lu Dayo interrupted with a bitter face. Little sister, Master Brother, you have pity on me. Look, I have become your 2 coolies. Lu Dayo looked at the full basket behind him, and sighed helplessly. It turned out that early that morning in the teacher's classroom, Ling Huchong didn't listen well to the teacher's lecture and even led a group of fellow students to make things difficult for the teacher. However, before the class was over, he covered his mouth and ran to find Yu Buchuan to complain. Before leaving, he didn't forget to say harshly, "You little bunnies, you. Oh, hey, don't do anything." As Ling Huchong pretended to hit himself again, the teacher didn't care about the 2 front teeth he knocked off and quickly ran away. Ha ha ha. There was another burst of laughter. And the consequence is that the three people, led by Ling Huchong, were punished by Yu Buchuan to go down the mountain to purchase. In fact, this is the ultimate goal of the three people, otherwise what fun would it be to stay on this mountain all day? To get to the point, Lu Hoer, what are you complaining about? There's something you want to see later. Ling Huchong whispered in Lu Daio's ear. Yu Lingshan watched as Ling Huchong whispered to Lu Daio, thinking that the two of them had some secrets hidden from her. She was dissatisfied and said, "Hey, master brother, what are you two doing?" Ling Huchong ignored Yu Lingshan's words and continued, "Later, let's do this." "Humph, master, I'm ignoring you." Yu Lingshan pouted and turned to continue watching the program, but didn't notice that Lu Daio's eyes were shining brightly at this moment. "Cough cough, little junior sister, where is the master brother? I know there's a place where the programs are very exciting, not to mention pastries, they definitely suit your taste. I'll take you there." Ling Huchong said with a wicked smile. "Humph." Yu Lingshan didn't turn her head and continued to watch the martial arts artists perform the technique of breathing fire and changing scenes. Ling Huchong saw that she did not pay attention to herself. He smiled. He grabbed her hand and walked to the crowded place. There was a busy street in front of him. Yu Lingshan was pulled by Ling Huchong with sorrow on her face. He also held a string of tomatoes on sticks in his other hand. Seeing that the timing was almost ripe, he quickly exchanged glances with Lu Daio behind him. Lu Da, with a heart, quickly spoke up and said, "Hey, hey, don't squeeze, don't squeeze." Ling Huchong looked around and pulled Yu Lingshan to a vendor, with a smile on his lips. "Junior sister, hurry up. Here's your favorite almond cake." "Where is it, master?" Yu Lingshan was startled by Ling Huchong's sudden words, and her head had not yet reacted. Ling Huchong took the opportunity to break free and shouted, "Ah! Squeezing me to death." In a daze, Ling Huchong and Lu Da were gone. Yu Lingshan looked left and right but couldn't see anyone. She pouted in dissatisfaction and said, "Humph, master, where are you, master? The other street not far from here is also bustling and bustling." At the corner, two figures slowly gathered together, and one of them spoke up, "Master, your method is really impressive, but it may not be good to keep junior sister alone. Don't worry, Lu Hoer. Although my martial arts skills are very poor, I still have more than enough to deal with ordinary little thieves." "It's okay," Ling Huchong pondered as she touched her chin. "Oh, all right, hee, master brother. Are we really going to that bustling place? It's a brothel. Didn't you just say we just need to take a look at that place? Why today?" Ling Huchong grabbed onto Daio's shoulder and said, "Today, I'm here to take you to broaden your horizons. Let's go and contribute your pocket money. We'll only drink, and we won't spend much on you." Lu Dao glanced at Ling Huchong and weakly said, "Okay, I can't hide all the pocket money I've saved for over a year from you. Master, take me to see. To be honest, I've never been to that kind of place before." Looking at the lustful light in Lu Dao's eyes, Ling Huchong smiled wickedly and walked shoulder to shoulder with Lu Dao towards the direction of fleeting time. Amidst the passage of time, at a guest table near the staircase, Ling Huchong lowered his head and drank, wondering what he was thinking. Lu Daio, on the other hand, was chewing melon seeds in his mouth and didn't forget to look left and right. The decoration was as magnificent as the passage of time, and the lobby was even more spacious. Dozens of tables were also filled with people, making it very lively. "Get out of here, how can you serve me as a mediocre and vulgar fan? Get out." At a table not far from Ling Huchong, two young men in blue robes were sitting, and these words were spoken from one of the men with a mischievous appearance. As everyone saw a farce about to unfold, they voluntarily stopped communicating and looked forward to the follow-up on zhaosuiyuan.com. I saw another man in a green robe speak up and say, "Madam. Madam. Come here." At this moment, a middle-aged woman with a chubby figure and a face covered in rouge quickly walked over. "Hey guest, what's wrong? Are you not satisfied with Lily? What do you say? How dare these mediocre and vulgar fans come to serve me and drink? I have a high eye." The man with a mischievous expression showed an angry expression on his face. "Don't worry, sir. How are you doing with this one?" The madam waved and called for a girl, pinching her chin and continuing, "Grandpa, this is Xiaohong. You see how beautiful Xiaohong is. You can touch her face with your hand, it's so slippery." The man in a blue robe with a mischievous expression pinched Xiaohong's face and said, "You're a mediocre and vulgar fan. Go away, it's causing me to lose my interest in drinking. Go away." At this moment, the madam wanted to say something, and Ling Huchong and others silently watched the farce. Unconsciously, the noise in the lobby suddenly came to an end, and Ling Huchong accidentally heard the sound of footsteps coming from the second floor, but still lowered his head to drink without paying attention. Suddenly, I only heard the madam loudly say, "How beautiful, how beautiful." Lu Dayo also quickly patted Ling Huchong's shoulder with his hand, indicating that he was looking up. "Master, look, look." A touch of red ribbon, a blue gold dot-plated dress wearing a golden phoenix crown on his head, the green threads behind him scatter freely on the face of a beautiful country, a pair of bright eyes, sometimes alluring like silk, sometimes with flowing eyes, red lips still remain. A hasty glance is not a passing guest, but a lifelong one, unification of the martial arts world, eternal dominance if there is affection. A glance of smoke and clouds. Next episode trailer. Ling Huchong and Dongfang Bubi meet for the first time. It was originally the beginning of a golden and jade relationship, but in the end, due to the salty pig hand. Ali anecdotes. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Like the passage of time, there was no sound inside, even the sound of chopsticks falling to the ground was clearly visible. At this moment, everyone's gaze was fixed on the stairs on the second floor, and the two men in green robes stopped arguing with the madam, looking up and down intoxicated. As the stunning woman on the second floor slowly walked down the stairs, Ling Huchong impatiently raised his head and thought to himself, "I've been here more than once or twice in this fleeting time. Where did you find any pretty girl? The taste of this wine is quite good. Head up, turn your eyes." Ling Huchong instantly felt as if he had been electrocuted all over his body, staring blankly at the stunning woman walking towards him. "Let me wipe it. Damn it. This is so beautiful. I'm not dizzy, right?" he said. Ling Huchong could only feel the little deer banging wildly in his chest, an inexplicable heat coming from his nose, and an unknown liquid accumulating in his mouth, ready to explode. The stunning woman descended the stairs while flirting with the crowd in the lobby. When passing by Ling Huchong's table, she was lazy to look over here. Lu Dayo stared foolishly at the stunning beauty, unaware that the wine glass in his hand was about to slip off with a loud bang. Everyone was attracted by the sudden sound and looked towards the direction of the sound source. The stunning woman curiously turned around and saw a man who was less than half a meter away from her. The man was wearing a yellow cloth jacket and black pants, which looked a bit tattered. However, the man's tough face was sharp and angular, with long eyelashes and deep eyes, which made his nose and mouth feel a bit strange. Ling Huchong never imagined that she would look at him and even look at him with seductive eyes. In a daze, an uncontrollable saliva burst out with a loud splash, and the nasal cavity was also hot. With a hiss sound, blood flowed out. Puff, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. The lobby was instantly filled with a burst of laughter. Lu Dayo reacted and looked at Ling Huchong's strange expression, which made him smile more than anyone else. Puchi, the stunning woman, couldn't help but cover her mouth with a faint smile when she saw such a situation. At the same time, she reached out her Xianxia jade hand and patted Ling Huchong's face, then walked out. Done. Done. I'm sure I'll be laughed to death by Lu Hoer now. When I return to the mountain, if Lu Hoer shouts loudly, my old face will be ruined. Ling Huchong quickly rubbed his face with his clothes, thinking about how to bribe Lu Dao. However, a corner of his eye caught sight of the two men in blue who had just caused trouble and followed him out. Immediately, his black eyes rolled and he chuckled, got it. He stood up and grabbed his sword, calling out to Lu Dao, Lu Hoer, let's go. Lu Dao put on his sword and said with a puzzled expression, where are you going, master? Aren't you drinking anymore? Ling Huchong walked out and said, stop drinking. Master, take you to the hero's rescue. Oh, although Lu Dao was confused, he still followed Ling Huchong. In a remote alley, cats and dogs are all sleeping soundly. But the story that happened tonight destined this alleyway to be extraordinary. A stunning woman walked in front of her, followed closely by two men in green clothes wielding swords. The atmosphere was tense for an instant, and with a soft cough, it broke the silence of the night. Cough, my master often teaches us that when we go out on the road, we should face injustice and help each other with our swords. The stunning woman glanced back and thought to herself, where did you come from? The two silver needles in her hand were slowly tucked away. Lu Hoer, do you know these famous four beasts of Qingcheng? Lu Dao suppressed a smile and said, Master, I really don't know about these four beasts. It's okay, let me introduce you. The one on the left is called the Big Beast, and the one on the right is the Second Beast. You. Who are you? How dare you insult us, the four shows of Qingcheng? Lu Hoer, please keep an eye on it. Master, how did you teach these two beasts a lesson? In an instant, flames lit up, and Ling Huchong and the two men in green had already started fighting. Isn't that the kid who saw me with nosebleeds just now? With just these three-legged skills, it's ridiculous to even want heroes to save the beauty, the stunning woman sneered. Before long, Ling Huchong had already knocked down the two men in green to the ground. The big beast covered its chest and said, who are you? Do you have to meddle in your own business? Ling Huchong scratched his head with his hand and thought to himself, the style of the Qingcheng sect in the martial arts world is notorious for being cautious and seeking revenge. No, I can't take revenge on myself. Regardless of who I am, I'm in a good mood now and consider you two as grandsons. In the future, you two can shout, Grandpa, when you see me. Ling Huchong raised his eyebrows and said. You. After hearing this, the big beast became angry and came up with a retort. However, the second beast pulled his hand, and the two exchanged glances. The second beast then took out two bullets from his arms and threw them out. Ling Huchong had already noticed something was amiss between the two of them, and in an instant, he used the Huashan sword technique to shoot down the two bullets. However, he didn't expect the bullets to explode. I thought to myself, not good. I lightly bounced and picked up the stunning woman, spinning around in the air. At the same time, to avoid the aftermath of the explosion, I landed again and lightly landed 10 meters away. Miss, are you okay? Ling Huchong comforted with concern. The stunning woman didn't speak, just lowered her eyes. Ling Huchong followed her perspective and found that he was still holding the girl with both hands, thinking that his arm was injured. He looked repeatedly to confirm that her arm was fine, and then continued, Girl, it's so late. Where are you going? These past few days haven't been peaceful. Go to Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. You look so beautiful, be careful not to be caught by a few perverts again. The stunning woman's expression was indifferent, and her irresistible killing intent slowly condensed in the air. Word by word, he said, you, here, me, handle, hand, sprinkle, open. Ling Huchong lowered his head again in confusion, only to realize that a person who didn't pay attention just now actually hugged the girl's buttocks. In an instant, I reacted and immediately pulled my hand out, but because it was too sudden, I pulled it back with some force, giving the stunning woman the feeling of being caught. The killing intent in the air instantly boiled to the extreme, and the three people fighting not far away all felt a deep chill. As for the culprit, Ling Huchong, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, girl. It's my fault for my slippery hands and offending you. I'm really sorry, I'm sorry. Ling Huchong apologized with his hands clasped together, and beads of sweat on his face slipped down. He was really sorry. How about this? In order to make up for my mistake, may I ask where you live? I'll take you home, okay? Please rest assured, I have no other thoughts. Of course, it would be great if you could treat me to a pot of wine when I arrive at your house. Ling Huchong said, taking off the wine gourd from his waist and shaking it. It was already not much. The stunning woman was already extremely angry. The silver needle hidden in her hand intended to directly take the life of the shameless person in front of her, but as she heard the latter part of his words, her flushed face regained a hint of coldness. A silver needle flicked in the hand. Next episode trailer. Dongfang Bubi returned to the sect and wanted to calm down, but his mind kept flashing with scenes of Ling Huchong disrespecting him. He was both angry and angry for a moment. Ling Huchong and the three of them returned to Mount Hua, and Luda spread the news with a big mouth. After learning about it, Yubuchuan even brought Ling Huchong and others to apologize at the door. Damn Ling Huchongi. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. With a hiss. Ah. My hand. Who? Who attacked? My hand. The second beast cried out in pain, and a small hole was clearly drilled in the left wrist. Big Beast Su Huang used a move to repel Lu Dayo and said to the two beasts, let's retreat for now, don't entangle with them. Let's go. After finishing the words, the long sword on the ground couldn't care to pick it up and pulled the two beasts away quickly from the scene. I'm a despicable person, don't leave. Lu Dayo said after stabilizing his figure. Turning around to look in the direction of Ling Huchong, I saw such a scene. Ling Huchong kept saying something, while the girl just looked at him with an indifferent expression and remained silent. Master, I've taken care of it here. Are you okay? Lu Dayo scratched his head and walked over. I'm fine, Lu Hoer. Master, what can I do? Ling Huchong heard the voice and looked back, then continued, are you okay too? Lu Hoer. Lu Da nodded to indicate that he was okay. The stunning woman turned slightly to look at the two of them. For a moment, she didn't know what they were up to. However, one of them, Xianxia's jade hand, was caught by a large hand and her body suddenly froze. Let's go, girl. I'll take you home. Ling Huchong grabbed the hand of the stunning woman with a smile on his face and walked towards the only exit in the alley. At this moment, the stunning woman lowered her head slightly, unable to discern her expression. She let Ling Huchong walk out of the alley holding hands, while Lu Dayo followed closely behind. Ling Huchong looked at the deserted street and said, girl, which direction is your home? The stunning woman still lowered her head and pointed in front of her. Oh, let's go quickly, I'll take care of you. Ling Huchong patted his quite upright chest and said. On a late September night, the fresh breeze has already brought a hint of coolness. Ling Huchong led the way, while the stunning woman followed closely behind because her hand was still tightly held in the hands of some shameless person. Lu Dayo walked at the back and looked at the two people in front, feeling an indescribable strangeness. Oh my, junior sister. Master, why did we lose junior sister? Lu Dayo patted his head and said regretfully. Ling Huchong stopped and first glanced at the stunning woman, pondered for a while, then touched her chin and said, all right, Lu Hoer, you go back to find the junior sister first. Anyway, this place is not far from Huashan. You should hurry back overnight and be careful not to be discovered by the master. After looking at the sky, Lu Dayo said, all right, master, I'll take a step first. When I find the junior sister, I'll rush back to Huashan. With that, he quickly left here. Another gentle breeze came as Ling Huchong took off his clothes and wanted to drape them over the stunning woman. The stunning woman had intended to refuse and was about to wave her hand to interrupt, but in the moment he lifted his head, he met Ling Huchong's face, which was filled with a smile. His handsome face had sharp edges and fell like sunlight. As he draped his coat over himself and didn't forget to tie it tightly, the hand he had originally intended to push away quietly withdrew. Two people walking shoulder to shoulder on the cold street. By the way, girl, I haven't asked what your name is yet. Ling Huchong broke the silence first. After hearing this, the stunning woman paused for a moment and then said, East. White. Dongfang Bai, a great name. Ling Huchong casually pulled off a dog-tail grass and held it in his mouth. The stunning woman opened her mouth and prepared to continue, Dongfang miss, what about me? My name is. However, as he spoke, she reached out and pressed a jade hand onto his mouth. I looked at the surrounding environment and then at Ling Huchong. I'm home now. Ling Huchong looked at the tightly closed door and then around, playing around. Not to mention, your home is quite remote. I went the right way this time, otherwise there might be a wild beast emerging from somewhere and eating you. Hee, by the way, is your parents at home? I'll go knock on the wooden door for you. Ling Huchong took a step forward and pretended to knock on the wooden door. Ah! A painful cry pierced through the night sky. Miss Dongfang, why are you pinching me? Ling Huchong rubbed her waist hard and spoke up. Can you shut up? Say more and sew your mouth together. I see you're even more shameless than those two beasts. The stunning woman quickly walked forward and opened the door, then with a loud bang, the wooden door closed tightly. Ling Huchong looked at the empty wine gourd on his waist and sighed, oh my goodness, this is a world. He sent someone home with a good heart but didn't even have a sip to drink. It's easy for me. As he spoke, he walked towards the way he came with a mournful expression. Inside the wooden house, leader, I have found out about Mount Taishan Mountain recently. Recently, the Song Mountain Sect and the Song Mountain Sect are recruiting disciples, especially the Song Mountain Sect. In addition to publicizing statements that are bad for our sect, they have also secretly cultivated a group of talented people. I'm still investigating the specific situation. Alright, I understand now. Step back, said the stunning woman with her hands behind her, staring out the window in the direction of Ling Huchong's departure. Yes, master. The figure of the man in black slowly faded away. By now, the identity of the stunning woman has become evident. Yes, she is the leader of the first sect in the martial arts world, the Sun Moon Divine Sect. East, square, no, defeat. When deep love comes to an end, loneliness erodes loneliness inside the Wenqing Wuda Hall of the Sun and Moon Cult. Master, you're back. Upon seeing Dongfang Bubi return, Yunyang quickly walked forward and greeted her with a smile. At this moment, Dongfang Bubi had changed back into men's clothing, with a pensive expression on his face and his beautiful eyes no longer shining as before, just walking towards the position of the sect leader. The first time Yunyang saw Dongfang Bubi looking so lethargic, she thought he was injured or had something on his mind. She immediately cared and said, Master, do you have anything on your mind? Dongfang Bubi stopped in her tracks, constantly flashing scenes in her mind. She had never had physical contact with the opposite sex since childhood, and today, she was touched by an shameless person. She even held her own hand. Throughout her journey, she was constantly pondering a question in her heart. Why? Why didn't I slap that shameless person to death with one palm? Now, the more I look back on those scenes, the more angry I am. What was wrong with myself at that time? The high and mighty leader of the Sun and Moon Divine Sect was actually taken advantage of by a petty thug. Ha ha ha. Why didn't I actually kill him? This was clearly something I could do with just one thought. Dongfang Bubi sat on the leader's seat, trying to control himself from thinking about what happened tonight until he slowly regained his previous indifferent demeanor. Master, are you feeling unwell? Yunyang has stewed bird's nest for you, take a sip. Yunyang then brought a bowl of bird's nest. Dongfang Bubi took a sip of the bird's nest and caught a glimpse of Yunyang's flustered expression from the corner of his eye. Although it was only an instant before it returned to normal. After putting down the bowl, Dongfang Bubi paused and said, Yunyang, do you have something to report to me? Master, no, everything in the sect has been fine lately. Really, Yunyang, you know my temper. If you dare to deceive me in any way. Pop. Dongfang Bubi suddenly spewed out a mouthful of crimson blood, covering his chest and saying, You. How dare you poison this seat? What do you mean by that? Master, spare your life. Yunyang only took action against you because she had to face unavoidable difficulties. Master, rest assured that I will bury you well after your death, and in the next life, Yunyang will continue to be your ox and horse without any complaints. Master, you can go with peace of mind. Yunyang quickly knelt down in the tunnel when she saw this situation. You. I'll kill you. Dongfang Bubi pretended to slap him, and with another mouthful of blood spurting out, he finally lay soft on the ground. Yunyang saw that Dongfang Bubi was already dead and kowtowed to her 3 times before getting up and running towards the outside of the main hall. Little did they know that after Yunyang left, Dongfang Bubi slowly opened his eyes and stared in the direction of Yunyang's departure. Yunyang, I really want to know why you chose to betray me. Dongfang Bubi pondered as the image of that shameless person reappeared in his mind. Damn it. At this moment, a door in a room on the 2nd floor of an inn near Haimu Cliff was pushed open with a creaking sound. Brother Long, Yunyang has done it. We can be together forever, Brother Long, Yunyang said and threw herself into the arms of a man wearing a black nightgown. The man gently stroked Yunyang's back and said, Yunyang, did you really do it? Yunyang looked up at the man and nodded. The joyful expression on the man in black's face was obvious. Great, after eliminating the leader of the Sun and Moon Divine Sect, Dongfang Bubi, I can invite my master for credit. The master will definitely elevate me to the rank of senior disciple. After saying these words, a fierce expression flashed in the man's eyes. At this moment, Yunyang was immersed in the happiness of finally getting together, completely unaware of it. Brother Long, you. Yunyang looked at the dagger on her body with a lost expression, her face filled with disbelief. As the black-clothed man's hand wielded the dagger again, Yunyang slowly collapsed. I'm sorry, Yunyang. Master definitely doesn't allow any interaction between the 5 Sacred Sword sect and the members of the demon cult, so you can go with peace of mind and don't hate me. The door was opened again with a bang, and before the black-clothed man could react, he grabbed his neck tightly with one hand in the darkness. With a little force, he lifted him up. Is Ah Long, the 6th disciple of the Chongsan sect. Ah Long looked at the man in front of him with a deep fear in his eyes. Do you think that with just your little poison, this place can be put to death? So, this place has already died 1,000 times. Dongfang Bubi said, looking at Yunyang who was lying in the pool of blood. Since you two are so loving, then this place can fulfill you. He saw Dongfang Bubi holding his left hand one by one, and Yunyang's body sucked into her hand. He then drew out the blood-stained dagger and firmly controlled it in Yunyang's hand. Ah Long's face was full of fear, watching Dongfang Bubi's left hand push, and Yunyang's body immediately threw into his arms. Of course, there was also the sharp dagger. As Ah Long slowly collapsed while holding on to Yunyang, Dongfang Bubi looked coldly at the 2 people hugging each other, then turned around and prepared to leave the room. Master. A weak voice came to my ears, and Dongfang Bubi's footsteps, preparing to leave, stopped. It turned out that the knife did not harm the vital parts. Looking for the Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com, Yunyang just lost too much blood and fainted. Yunyang struggled to get up from the ground and looked at Dongfang Bubi. Yunyang. Dongfang Bubi quickly went over and hugged her, while his right hand slowly pressed against Yunyang's back, inputting true qi. No, sect leader, Yunyang is not worth it for you to do this. Yunyang's blood-stained hands tightly grasped Dongfang Bubi's hand, which was originally holding on to her wound. Master, I know that I have betrayed you, but Master, I love him, and I cannot do without him. Master, Yunyang has only one request. Please see that Yunyang has served you without complaint or regret for many years. I only hope that you can bury us together after my death, Master. Yunyang, why are you so foolish? Dongfang Bubi's indifferent gaze showed a hint of sadness. No, Master, I'm not stupid because I love him. Master, you don't know how beautiful and desirable love is. After these short days of being together, I am willing to sacrifice my life. Just because I love him. Dongfang Bubi let her hold her hand and silently looked at Yunyang. Master, you are obsessed with scheming every day, calculating things all day long, you live the same kind of life every day, but Yunyang believes in Master. If one day you also encounter love, you will definitely. Yunyang was still waiting to say something, but her hand hung down powerless. Long-term Dongfang Bubi slowly stood up, looked at Yunyang, remembered what she had said, and gradually remembered the person's face in his mind. Remembering his extremely awkward appearance during the fleeting years. Damn it. That shameless person, I hate him so much, how could I fall in love with him? Perhaps she didn't even know that while she was angry at what he had done to her, she was accompanied by a hint of hope, hoping to meet again someday. Damn Ling Huchong too. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The sky is so high, surrounded by green mountains on both sides. In the main hall of Huashan, Ling Huchong knelt honestly on the ground. Standing in front of him were the current head of Huashan, Yu Buchuan, and his wife Ning Zhongzi. Chonger, lift your head and look at me. Oh, Master. Ling Huchong obediently raised his head when he heard Yu Buchuan's words, although he didn't want to look at Yu Buchuan's serious expression. Yu Buchuan put his hands behind his back and said sternly, Ling Huchong, you know your crime. Ah. Master, disciple. Disciple knows guilt. Ling Huchong muttered softly. Speak up. Didn't you eat this morning? Yu Buchuan frowned with a stern expression. Chonger was wrong, Chonger knows his guilt, and Chonger admits his mistake to you. Ling Huchong was startled. Do you know where the mistake lies? Yu Buchuan still carried it on his hands and turned away from looking at Ling Huchong. Master, Chonger was really wrong. Chonger shouldn't have touched the girl's buttocks. Ling Huchong looked embarrassed, with sweat stains already wetting his back. Chonger, what are you talking nonsense about? Your master is asking about your procurement. Ning Zhongzi looked puzzled. Behind Ling Huchong, Lu Dayo and Lao Dino blushed with suppressed faces, almost laughing out loud. Ah! Ling Huchong scratched the back of his head. Okay Ling Huchong, I asked you to go down the mountain to purchase to hone your skills. What have you all done? Great, great. Master, Master. Lu Dayo looked like he was gloating, but was shouted by Yu Buchuan before he could react. He quickly knelt down and said. I asked you yesterday, you said that the purchased goods were accidentally lost in a fight with two thieves. Your master brother stayed behind to fight with the thieves to cover your evacuation, right? Yes, yes, Master. Lu Dayo swallowed his saliva. Yeah, you said yesterday that Chonger came back late to save a girl, why? Ning Zhong looked at the strange two and said in confusion. Lu Dayo looked at Yu Buchuan and then at Ling Huchong, so he lowered his head and remained silent. Chonger, you say. Ning Zhongzi walked over to Ling Huchong and said. Shenyang, Chonger was trying to save a girl, but. Hey, it's all because Chonger's hands were not honest and accidentally touched the girl's buttocks. And then, Ning Zhongzi said with a rather focused expression. That girl didn't say anything, but Chong'er thought about doing the right thing to the end. He sent the Buddha to the west and decided to escort the girl home. Chong'er only returned. Is that so? Yu Buchuan asked. Master Brother is indeed preparing to send the girl back, but Master Brother is worried about the safety of the young junior sister, so he asked me to go back first. I don't know what will happen later. After Lu Dao finished speaking, he didn't forget to take a glance at Ling Huchong. Ling Huchong gave Lu Dao a contemptuous look, and Lu Dao quickly lowered his head and pretended not to see it. Chong'er, what's going on? Do you have anything else to hide from me as a teacher? Yu Buchuan's face was inexplicably strange. Senior brother, Chong'er grew up with us since childhood. You know his character, but I don't think he would. Ning Zhongzi looked at Yu Buchuan and said. Alas, Yu Buchuan is known as a gentleman's sword in the martial arts world, but today he has taught a little pervert. Ling Huchong, are you really going to be angry and become a teacher? Ling Huchong dared not say any more at this moment, so he had to keep silent. Yu Buchuan looked at Ling Huchong and turned to Ning Zhongzi, continuing, Junior sister, the girl who offended Chong'er is not clear to us whether she is from the martial arts world. However, if this matter spreads in the martial arts world, my reputation in Huashan may be ruined. Humph. After hearing this, Ningzhong pondered for a while. Senior brother, why don't we send someone to prepare some precious fruits? Tomorrow morning, you personally lead Chong'er to the girl's house so that Chong'er can come and apologize. I think even if this matter spreads in the martial arts world, we can still recover some losses by doing so. Do you think it's good? Well, junior sister makes sense. By the way, I will bring the jade lingji that I collected 3 years ago with me tomorrow, which will better demonstrate the etiquette of our Huashan. Chong'er, there's a big chance. You guys should get up first. Ning Zhongzi took a step forward. Master and Madam Xia, said Lu Dao. Ling Huchong was about to get up when he heard Ning Zhongzi's words. Wait a minute, Ling Huchong, as the eldest disciple of Huashan, has committed such a serious crime. Today, he will forgive him for the time being. After this matter is resolved, you will pack up your things and prepare to go up the Sigua cliff to accept punishment. I hope you can correct your own ideological problems during this period. Chong'er, do you have any objections? Master, I understand. Ling Huchong was dumbfounded, his mouth full of bitterness, and his face full of unrequited emotions. Early the next morning at the foot of Mount Hua, senior brother, please be careful with Chong'er and the others on the road. I have already handed over the things to Dao. Ning Zhong then tidied up Yu Buchuan's clothes. Mother, I'm going too, Yu Lingshan pouted discontentedly on the side. Shaner, Dad is taking your master brother to apologize at the door. What are you going to do? You're not allowed to go, stay on the mountain to accompany your mother. Dad, just let me go, master. I know you want me to accompany you, right? Yu Lingshan persisted in her heart. Junior sister, I think you should stay obediently on the mountain to accompany your teacher. Your swordsmanship has been getting worse and worse lately. If you don't practice your swordsmanship well, master brother won't take you out to play in the future. Ling Huchong said with a half-threatening tone. Alright, Shaner, let's do it this way. I want to go down the mountain to the cloth shop to make some new clothes recently. You can accompany my mother. Ning Zhongzi grabbed Yu Lingshan's hand and said. Okay, Mom. Dad, Master, be careful on the way. Yu Lingshan followed Ning Zhongzi back to the mountain. The group was about to depart, but they saw Ning Zhongzi turning back. Senior brother, I'm still not quite at ease with Chong'er. After all, I'm a newcomer, so let's follow you on a trip. On the Black Cliff, I pay my respects to the saint. Uncle Xiang, please get up quickly. Miss, do you have anything important to tell me when you come down to find your subordinates? Uncle Xiang, recently Uncle Dongfang has been away from the cliff a lot. I want to go down the mountain. Is there a good way for Uncle Xiang? The Eastern cult leader once ordered that miss, you are not allowed to go down the mountain. Currently, I have no way to help you go down the mountain, which is my incompetence. Okay, I got it. Uncle Xiang, please step back quickly. I'm afraid Uncle Dongfang may notice after a while. Yes, Mississippi. Dad, are you okay? Ren Yingying looked in the direction of West Lake, lost in thought. Chong'er, how far is it from that girl's house? Ning Zhong tidied up Ling Huchong's clothes and asked with concern. Shenyang, it's fast, right ahead. Ling Huchong walked ahead. Yu Buchuan looked around at the bad environment and said, Chong'er, do you know the name of the girl's family that we are going to? Master, of course I know that girl's name. Her name is Dongfang. Dongfang Bubi. Yu Buchuan blurted out, noticeably stunned, and his footsteps also stopped. Ningzhong is also similar. Master, it's not that Dongfang Bubi. That girl's name is Dongfang Bai, Ling Huchong quickly explained. Dongfang Bai. Ning Zhongzi asked solemnly, looking at Yu Buchuan and then at Ling Huchong. Yes, Shenyang, her name is Dongfang Bai, Ling Huchong said with joy on his face. Senior brother, I think it's probably because you're being careless. Let's not get into trouble with Dongfang Bubi. He has no reason to attack us, doesn't he? Find Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com, I hope so. Yu Buchuan's dark face revealed a strange expression. 1 hour later, is that here, Chong'er? Ling Huchong looked around and confirmed, yes, master. That night, the disciple sent her here and went back. Yu Buchuan waved his hand to signal Ling Huchong to knock on the door. Ling Huchong took a step forward and raised his hand to knock on the wooden door. Dong dong dong, hello, is anyone at home? Miss Dongfang, are you at home? Dongfang Miss, Dongfang Mississippi. Master, you should have given your name, otherwise the girl wouldn't have known who you were. She might have thought you were the little thief that night. Lu Daio chuckled while covering his mouth. Yes, Chong'er, Ning Zhongzi also said. I'm not such a teacher, because Chong'er, I didn't tell that girl my name that day. Ling Huchong said with a hint of grievance in his words. Yu Buchuan saw this situation and gestured for Ling Huchong to lean back, then he stepped forward and knocked on the door. May I ask if anyone is at home? I am none other than Mount Hua. Can the girl open the door and speak? Inside the wooden house, Dongfang Bubi was discussing the next steps with his subordinates when he suddenly heard a knock on the door outside, thinking that this hidden gathering point had been discovered by the members of the Mei Sword Sect. Dongfang Bubi stared in the direction of the wooden door with both hands and eyes on his back. Master, should I summon my disciples to help you? Dongfang Bubi turned around and frowned lightly, you step down, I will notify you if there is anything. Yes, sect leader. The purple-robed man walked away quickly. Dongfang Bubi lowered his eyes and looked at himself, then turned around and walked towards the inner room. Damn Linghu Chongsan. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Senior brother, I'm afraid this girl isn't at home, why don't we go back first? Ning Zhongzi looked at the sky and said. Okay, that's all we can do. Yu Buchuan sighed slightly. Just as the group was about to leave, the door was opened with a creak. Someone is dressed in white and paired with a purple shirt inside. Long hair is casually tied up, with a curvaceous figure paired with a stunning appearance. Give people a fairy-like temperament that does not consume human fireworks. Dongfang, Mississippi. Ling Huchong took 3 steps and then moved to Dongfang Bubi's side in an instant. An uncontrollable joy on the face. Lu Daio and Lao Dino both swallowed a mouthful of saliva as they saw the arrival. What are you doing again? Dongfang Bubi gave him a blank glance. He, Miss Dongfang, let me introduce you to you. This is my master, Yu Buchuan, the leader of Huashan. Next to him is my teacher, Ning Zhongzi. Dongfang Bubi looked at Yu Buchuan and Ning Zhongzi with an indifferent expression and said, "Come in first." The group walked into the wooden house. The wooden house is not large, with 2 wooden chairs placed at the front of the main hall. Dongfang Bubi still looked coldly at Yu Buchuan and his group. Standing next to her, Ling Huchong thought it was because she was shy and embarrassed, so he quietly patted her shoulder with his hand. Dongfang Bubi gave him a slight sideways glance, then turned around and bowed slightly to Yu Buchuan and Ning Zhongzi. "Little girl Dongfang Bai, I have seen the leader and wife of you," he said. Ning Zhongzi took a step forward and supported Dongfang Bubi. "Dongfang Miss, please don't be too polite. We came here this time to deal with Chonger, as long as you don't blame Chonger. Dayo, bring the things prepared by your master." Upon hearing this, Lu Dayo quickly placed the gift brought behind him in front of Dongfang Bubi. "Miss Dongfang, you knows that his eldest disciple has offended her, so he has prepared some small gifts. Please don't argue with my disciple for you's sake." Yu Buchuan spoke with his hands on his back. Ning Zhongzi glanced at Dongfang Bubi and then at Ling Huchong beside her. "I already have a rough idea in my heart. Chonger, hurry up and apologize to Dongfang Mississippi," Ning Zhongzi said helplessly. Shenyang, Chonger had already apologized to Dongfang Miss that day. Ling Huchong said somewhat unwillingly. "Chonger, listen to your teacher's advice. You are so careful that neither I nor your teacher knows. Remember, it's getting late to be more formal." After listening, Ling Huchong took a slight breath and turned over to walk to Dongfang Bubi. He knelt down on one knee and took Dongfang Bubi's hand and gave her a few strong kisses on the back of her hand. He looked at her face and said, "Dongfang Miss, I know Ling Huchong was wrong. Your adult doesn't remember being a villain, can you forgive me?" Ling Huchong's long eyelashes kept blinking and blinking. Yu Buchuan poured a cup of tea on his own and just took a sip and sprayed it out with a loud splash. Lu Dayo couldn't help but say, "Ha ha ha, master brother, you're too formal. You're not apologizing, you're just courting, ha ha ha." Even Ning Zhongzi blushed awkwardly and couldn't speak. As the party involved, Dongfang Bubi was completely stunned by his series of actions. When he realized it, his stunning face turned red, like a ripe apple, with a bright red hue. Dong! Ling Huchong thought it was because he wasn't formal enough and was ready to speak again. Dongfang Bubi quickly reached out his other hand and pressed his mouth, repeatedly saying, all right, I don't blame you, Ling Huchong." "Really?" Ling Huchong quickly stood up. Well, you give me your hand first." Dongfang Bubi lowered his eyes and gestured to Ling Huchong. "It's okay, I feel comfortable holding it," Ling Huchong said shamelessly. Ning Zhongzi looked at the two of them and thought to himself, these two children, Chonger, are ancient and supernatural. This Dongfang girl can also be considered knowledgeable and reasonable. These two people are also compatible when they are together. Dongfang Bubi couldn't help but take Ling Huchong. He looked at the crowd still standing and said, "Master you, Madam you, please don't stand. Please sit down, I'll go make tea for the two of you." With a force of his right hand, he broke free from Ling Huchong's hand and glared at Ling Huchong. Ling Huchong was just having fun and didn't take it seriously. After a short space, "Master you, Madam you, please have some tea." Dongfang Bubi brought tea and placed it between the two. Yu Buchuan took a sip of tea and said, "May I ask Dongfang, is there anyone else in your family? Is your parents okay?" Dongfang Bubi was slightly stunned and hesitated, saying, "My parents have passed away due to the war, and now I am the only one left in the family." Yu Buchuan and Ning Zhongzi exchanged glances and continued, "How about this? Huashan has long held a place in the 5 Sacred Sword Sect and is also quite prestigious in the martial arts world. If you don't mind, Mississippi." After a pause, Yu Buchuan glanced at Ling Huchong and continued, "If you invest in my Huashan Sect, I think Chong'er will take better care of you. I wonder what do you think, Mississippi? Dongfang Bubi had just been disturbed by Ling Huchong and was already in chaos. However, upon hearing Yu Buchuan's words, he regained a bit of rationality. I would like to express my gratitude to Master Yu, but I have become accustomed to being alone in these years. Please forgive me, Master Yu, she said with a slight restraint. Ning Zhongzi stood up and grabbed Dongfang Bubi's hand, slowly speaking, in recent years, the rivers and lakes have been turbulent, and the people have been displaced. You must be living a very difficult life alone. Alright, let's take the gift that our couple brought today. I will have Chong'er come to visit you every now and then. Do you think this is good? Dongfang Bubi furrowed his brows and eyes lightly, pondered for a moment, and said, okay, then Bayer will temporarily thank Master Yu and Lady Yu. Ning Zhongzi's face flashed with a hint of dissatisfaction and he said, Miss Dongfang, what you're saying is an outsider. You see, my senior brother and I have expressed ourselves so clearly. Isn't it too unfamiliar to say that? Upon hearing this, Dongfang Bubi's originally flushed pretty face became even more rosy. After a pause, he struggled and said, Bayer. Thank you, Aunt. Uncle. Well, senior brother, it's getting late. It's time for you and me to set off and go back. Chong'er, you and Dongfang Miss can chat for a while. Shenyang, your master, and Dio will go back first. Oh, master and mother, Chong'er went out to see you off. Ling Huchong heard this and quickly followed behind Ning Zhongzi, preparing to go out and see you off. In the wooden house of Zhaozuiyuan.com, only the bewildered Dongfang Bubi remained. Until Ling Huchong turned back again and the door of the wooden house was closed with a creak, Dongfang Bubi finally regained his composure. East. Shut up. Just as Ling Huchong was about to speak, he was interrupted by Dongfang Bubi and ignored him. He walked towards the inner room on his own, and Ling Huchong quietly followed with a chuckle. Inside the inner room, Dongfang Bubi was currently pondering the intelligence that his subordinates had just discovered. The previously assigned task had already been completed, and Dongfang Bubi was preparing to meet with disciples of the sect at the foot of Mount Song tonight to understand the power secretly cultivated by the Huashan Sect and its specific distribution. Dongfang Bubi took out a set of men's clothing from the wardrobe, then slowly took off his coat. His fragrant shoulders and jade back were completely exposed to the air, and his skin was like condensed fat. His fair neck and seductive collarbone were all there. Shoo, hoo. Just now, Dongfang Bubi was only thinking about problems, but forgot that there was another person in the wooden house when Dongfang Bubi turned around. Ling Huchong could no longer bear it, his nose was hot again, and blood rushed out again. Ling Huchong. Dong. Ah. Dongfang Bubi reached out and pinched him fiercely. Ling Huchong, you pervert, I must kill you today. Master, mother, help me. It's no use shouting at anyone. Dongfang Bubi once again took a quick and lightning-fast squeeze on him. Ah. Are you wrong? East. Ah. Next episode trailer. A wedding is being held in an unknown small village, and Yilin in the bridal chamber is ashamed of Ling Huchong's shameless actions and is clamoring to commit suicide. Dongfang Bubi, who was drinking outside the room, turned a blind eye to it. Wedding 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ling Huchong. He's average and meddlesome. Today, I'm in a good mood and won't kill you. You go. 3 days ago, Ling Huchong was reluctantly driven out by Dongfang Bubi. Walking alone on the road, holding a dog-tail grass in her mouth, she muttered to herself, Miss Dongfang is really good. She says she's going on a long journey, not to mention where she's going, and she doesn't let me escort her. Sigh, there aren't many honest people like me in the martial arts world. Oh, where did you come from, little lady? Where are you going, young lady? Brother will accompany you. Let go of me, you pervert. Yo yo yo, the little lady is quite temperamental. TSK TSK TSK, hitting is kissing, scolding is loving, I like it. Behind a large stone not far away, Ling Huchong leaned sideways to observe the situation ahead. He had been following behind Tian Buguang for the past few days, and Tian Buguang had been following the Yilin junior sister of the Huashan Sect. Along the way, today, he could seize the opportunity to play out his lecherous nature. Tian Buguang wanted to take off Yilin's clothes. Oh, which senior should I be? It turns out to be the famous Tian Buguang, who travels alone for thousands of miles in the martial arts world. Unfortunately, he is a lecherous thief. Ling Huchong walked out calmly from behind the stone. Tian Buguang heard the sound behind her and stopped moving her hands. Yilin wanted to break free, but was unexpectedly hit by Tian Buguang's acupoint. Where did you come from, stinky kid? You dare to meddle in my affairs, aren't you tired of living? Tian Buguang said unhappily, being disturbed. Brother Tian, it's easy to say. Ling Huchong has a terrible life, but I'm in charge of this today. Either you let go of junior sister Yilin and leave on your own, or I'll fight until you leave. Ling Huchong pretended and drew his long sword. I see you have itchy skin, the younger generation of Huashan. Despite your moves, I must teach you a lesson today, this arrogant young man. Tian Buguang sucked his hand and the big knife on the ground reached him. Take action, kid. Look at your abilities. Tian Buguang swung his knife as fast as lightning, and from a distance of more than 10 meters, he came to Ling Huchong in the blink of an eye. Ling Huchong's long sword was unsheathed, and in an instant, a move was made in the 12th move of the Huashan sword technique, blocking Tian Buguang's large sword. Seeing the momentum, Tian Buguang flew forward and kicked Ling Huchong's chest with both feet. Ling Huchong stepped back 2 steps, holding the sword in one hand and covering his chest with the other. Unbreakable, kid. How did you Buchuan teach you, how did he teach such a stupid disciple? Ling Huchong took a slight breath, and in the 9th move of the Huashan sword technique, he took a direct attack on Tian Buguang's face. Tian Buguang saw the momentum and opened Ling Huchong's long sword with a knife. Ling Huchong took advantage of the momentum and flipped back to behind Tian Buguang, but was blocked by his big sword. Tian Buguang then used his right hand to strike at Ling Huchong, and he quickly turned to avoid the attack. However, to his surprise, Tian Buguang kicked out again, and Ling Huchong used his long sword to cross his chest to block the attack, but his body involuntarily took 2 steps back. After more than 20 rounds, Ling Huchong had no less than 10 large and small wounds on his body, and he knelt on one knee with a long sword inserted into the ground to support his body. Tian Buguang was holding a knife and facing Ling Huchong, with a distance of less than half a meter between the 2 sides. Ling Huchong, Ling Huchong. He is usually meddling in his own affairs. Today, I'm in a good mood and won't kill you. You go. Tian Buguang pointed his knife at Ling Huchong, who was kneeling on one knee. Seeing Ling Huchong remain silent, Tian Buguang also lazily entangled, turned around and ran towards Yilin's direction, when suddenly his legs were hugged by Ling Huchong. Yilin junior sister, hurry up and leave. Kid, I have already pinpointed her acupoint, she can't run away, let go. Tian Buguang used the handle of his knife to fiercely hit Ling Huchong's back. Ling Huchong only felt a sweet and fishy sensation gushing out of his throat. Although his true chi was already in chaos, he persisted in not letting go. Tian Buguang tilted his knife back and struck Ling Huchong hard on the back. This time, Ling Huchong could no longer bear it, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. The strength in his hand was also decreasing. Tian Buguang saw the momentum and lightly broke free from her feet. She picked up Yilin not far away and used her lightness skills, running towards the distance. Ling Huchong struggled to get up and glanced at the direction of Tian Buguang's departure, with a smile on his lips. Inside the Wenqing Wuda Hall, Brother Dongfang, you've come back. Tong Baixiong walked into the hall, only to see Dongfang Bubi holding a piece of brocade in his hand, constantly threading needles and threads, as if he was embroidering something. Seeing that Dongfang Bubi ignored him, Tong Baixiong rapped his head and spoke again, I didn't expect Dongfang brothers to have such a hobby. This kind of needlework that only women can do. I didn't expect Dongfang brothers to be skilled too, Dongfang Bubi put down the brocade cloth in his hand and glanced at Tong Baixiong, saying, tell me, what's up with you? Tong Baixiong once saved his life, and with his carefree personality, Dongfang Bubi is no exception. It's like this. A few days ago, when you were not in the sect, a disciple once reported to me that Chu Yushi had been wandering around the Huashan area for over a month, and I don't know what Chu Yang was doing. I'm afraid he might be detrimental to our sect, so I came to tell you, brother Dongfang. In fact, Dongfang Bubi had already received a secret report, and 20 days later it was Lu Zhengfeng's golden bowl handwashing ceremony in Huashan. Chu Yang has had secret contact with Lu Zhengfeng in recent years, and she is aware of it. However, one is a righteous demon-slaying guardian, and the other is a left and right hand of the divine religion, but the two can still have an intersection, which is really interesting. Little did she know that when Dongfang Bubi was curious about the relationship between these two people, she was actually just unaware of it. I know brother Tong, if you have nothing to do, go ahead and get busy. Dongfang Bubi waved to signal Tong Baixiong to step down and return to the leader's position, picking up the piece of brocade and continuing to thread the needle. Tong Baixiong glanced at Dongfang Bubi and felt that he had become a bit strange lately, but he didn't dare to say much and had to step back quickly. Love me, okay. Let's lose all our pride, oh, guests from afar. We first met a wedding being held in the village. Why don't we follow the old man in and have a drink? How about getting some happiness? It's also good to feel happy. Look for Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com, please come with me. Just lead the way. Dongfang Bubi, dressed in men's clothing, wore a purple headband and held a folding fan in his hand. In the cheerful new house, Yilin was dressed in red and had a hood over her head. The door was quietly opened, and Ling Huchong walked in with clenched hands and feet. Although Yilin's acupoints were touched, she could still hear a sound, thinking that it was Tian Buguang who was going to attack her. A wave of despair surged in her heart. Shu, Yilin junior sister from the Huashan Sect. I am Ling Huchong from Huashan. Do you remember me? Last year, Abbess Dingy brought you to our Huashan, and I had a one-sided relationship with you. Don't worry, Yilin junior sister. I will save you. Ling Huchong lifted Yilin's red cap and opened her acupoints. Yilin first took a few breaths of air and then slowly spoke, Are you really Linghu big brother? It's me, junior sister Yilin. Yilin could no longer suppress the bitterness in her heart these days, and she cried while holding on to Ling Huchong. Don't cry, don't cry. I'll figure out a way to rescue you first, be good. Ling Huchong patted her back and said. After a while, brother Linghu. Yilin wiped her tears with her hand. Look at you, crying like a little flower cat. Ling Huchong wiped away the tears from the corners of Yilin's eyes and said, Yilin, junior sister, please take off your wedding dress first. I have prepared other clothes for you. After you change into these clothes, I will find a way to take you out. Okay, brother Linghu. Yilin began to unbutton her clothes after hearing this, and after a while, she only took off a tight-fitting bra. Just as he was about to change into the clothes given by Ling Huchong, a whistling sound came through, TSK TSK TSK, Yilin junior sister, you have a good figure. Ah, a scream pierced through the night sky. Wedding 2. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chuyu Village is a small village located in a remote area with a small population and over 20 households living here. A bad old man with a white beard is the village head of this village. He was busy at the banquet today, serving dishes to guests later and occasionally going to the village entrance to recruit guests. He was happy to help recruit guests for this wedding because he received 100 taels of silver from Tian Buguang. Tian Gongzi, take a look at you. You look so handsome today. How are you? The wedding dress that my mother-in-law Li sewed for you too is still fitting. Tian Buguang was toasting to the guests one by one, and he was even happier when he heard Li's words. A perfect fit, especially when my little lady wears the wedding dress you made, it makes my eyes stand straight. After a pause, Tian Buguang continued, it would be even better if we could avoid that red tape. Tian Buguang gave Grandma Li a suggestive look. Tian Gongzi, these complicated formalities are an essential part of the newlyweds' marriage. This wedding must go through the orders of parents and the words of matchmakers. Only then will the heavens recognize your beautiful couple. You don't want your delicate bride to run away just a few days after marrying. After hearing this, Tian Buguang looked slightly displeased and said, my little lady is a newcomer, and I'm not. Tian Gongzi, you forgot about the wives you married before, didn't you all run away? The reason is that you are too impatient, Granny Li patiently advised. Okay. In order to keep my little daughter-in-law, I'll wait. Tian Buguang seemed to have made up his mind and said. Dongfang Bubi was drinking a small wine on the side, with a folding fan in his hand, swaying slightly. Oh, this handsome young master, come on, I'll toast you to Tian Buguang. Dongfang Bubi didn't even look at him, raised his glass and bowed back, then drank it all in one gulp. Ah, a scream drowned out the noise of the crowd. What's going on? Didn't I hit her acupoint? Did someone unlock Yilin's acupoint? Tian Buguang pondered without hesitation. Hurry up and take a look at your little bride. A figure just entered your bridal chamber, said Dongfang Bubi calmly. His grandmother, who dares to touch my wife? Tian Buguang rushed to the new house with a swift step and kicked open the door. On the wedding bed in the room, Yilin lay on the bed, covering her body with a cotton quilt in one hand and aiming scissors at her slender neck in the other. Her pink collarbone was exposed, while Ling Huchong lay on Yilin's body and grabbed her scissor arm with both hands. Tian Buguang stood there dumbfounded like a bolt from the blue, watching the two people on the bed whimper and burst into tears. Ling Huchong. The little daughter-in-law that I finally fell in love with, I haven't even touched her yet. I didn't expect you, the little thief, to take the lead. You compensate my little nun. Woo-woo, brother Tian, things are not as you think. Please listen to my explanation. Just explain, I have to chop you with one knife today. Tian Buguang stepped forward and pulled Ling Huchong apart. Without waiting for Ling Huchong to continue speaking, he kicked him out of the door and chased after him with a large knife on the table. The people drinking outside the door are confused when they see such a situation. Look at me, look at you. Just as Ling Huchong was about to get up, Tian Buguang flew up and kicked Ling Huchong 5 meters away. With an unstoppable momentum, he knocked over several tables and chairs and fell to Dongfang Bubi's feet. Dongfang Bubi saw that the figure just now was actually Ling Huchong, and a hint of anger flashed on his face. When Ling Huchong struggled to get up, he kicked Ling Huchong in the buttocks and then kicked him back. At this moment, all the guests dare not continue to stay here, gathering in a corner, afraid of accidentally injuring themselves. Oh, my butt! Ling Huchong let out a painful moan, and his foot was quite heavy. He had no strength to get up and lay on the ground groaning. At this moment, Tian Buguang was furious and grabbed Ling Huchong's collar, lifting it up with force. I'll kill you, you pervert, with just one blow. Tian Buguang grabbed Ling Huchong in his left hand and thrust forward with a sharp knife in his right hand. In the midst of lightning and fire, a silver needle struck the big knife like a bamboo, causing it to fall into a void. Who, that inconspicuous little thing, dares to stop me from killing? Tian Buguang looked around and finally his gaze fell on Dongfang Bubi. Brother Linghu. Yilin put on her clothes and walked out. Coincidentally, I saw Tian Buguang about to launch a fierce attack on Linghu. Hurriedly said, "Brother Tian, things are not as you think." Yilin took a step forward to separate the two, but forgot that she was just a weak woman and didn't have the strength to separate them. You lean towards this kid so quickly. What's good about him? I really like you, do you know? Tian Buguang said wrongly. Yilin. Junior sister, hurry up and leave here. Ling Huchong said weakly. Let's go. Where else is she going? I didn't expect you, this kid, to be even more chaotic and give up than me. As soon as she got married, she was irresponsible, right? Brother Tian, Brother Linghu and I really don't have much to do. Lin stomped her feet anxiously. Yilin. Junior sister, go to Huashan. Hurry up. Yilin's trip is to attend Uncle Lu Zhengfeng's Golden Bowl handwashing ceremony in Huashan. Her master, Master Dingyi, and senior sisters have already taken the lead. However, Yilin and senior sisters have been delayed due to purchasing goods at the market. Yilin looked at Ling Huchong, who was extremely weak, gritted her teeth and finally made up her mind. Linghu's senior brother, I will go to Huashan to find my master and they will help you. You must hold on, Linghu's senior brother. Yilin took a last glance at Ling Huchong, quickly left, and headed towards Huashan. Little lady. Tian Buguang looked at the direction of Yilin's departure and pondered for a moment. Today is your lucky day, and someone from a high school will save your life. Let me see you again another day, and I will not be lenient. After speaking, he threw him out with his left hand, picked up his big knife, and lightly chased towards the direction of Yilin's departure. What Ling Huchong didn't notice was that the big knife in Tian Buguang's hand had already been recessed, indicating that the move was fierce. After a short space the bustling courtyard was already empty, and Ling Huchong lay motionless on the ground. Dongfang Bubi walked over and lightly kicked him. Hey, are you dead? Ling Huchong struggled to support his body with his arms and tried to stand up, but due to his severe injury, he repeatedly failed. What exactly happened just now? Why did Tian Buguang attack you? And why did you come here? Dongfang Bubi asked her soul 3 times, and the bright moonlight sprinkled on her face, adding a touch of mystery. Ling Huchong looked up at Dongfang Bubi, feeling that the young master in front of him was very familiar, but he couldn't remember where he had seen him before. After a pause, she spoke up and said, she is Yilin junior sister from the Huashan Sect. She was noticed by Tian Buguang on the way, and it was difficult for him to take action. I followed her all the way until I arrived here. I was planning to secretly release Yilin junior sister, but there was a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? Dongfang Bubi gave him a blank glance. You don't believe me? Ling Huchong rubbed his chest and said. Why should I believe you? You don't look like a good person, said Dongfang Bubi, playing with the folding fan in his hand. Cough. Can you please help me up, brother, so that I can go and heal my wounds? Ling Huchong tried to get up again, but was still unsuccessful. Dongfang Bubi looked at Ling Huchong and thought to himself, do you want to just leave? What does he have to do with me? I'm not his person. Looking at his embarrassed expression, he finally reached out a hand and gestured for Ling Huchong to hold her. Ling Huchong grabbed Dongfang Bubi's hand and tried to stand up. Just as he took a step forward, he stumbled and threw himself directly into Dongfang Bubi's arms. The atmosphere was instantly awkward. Ling Huchong hugged Dongfang Bubi and looked at her in indifferent expression, saying, I'm sorry for dirtying your clothes. The two of them distanced themselves slightly, and Dongfang Bubi lowered his eyes to look at himself. His clothes were only stained with a few bloodstains, while Ling Huchong's previous injuries had already shattered due to the fight. He was covered in bloodstains all over his body, especially the wound on his shoulder, which was shocking. You are seriously injured, and if you don't seek treatment, you will die. A hint of panic flashed in Dongfang Bubi's eyes. Yeah, I didn't expect Brother Tian to take such a heavy blow. Ling Huchong coughed up a mouthful of blood and said, by the way, I'm Ling Huchong from Xiaohua Mountain. May I ask your brother's name? You saved my life just now, right? Dongfang Bubi took out a bottle of healing medicine from his pocket and handed it to Ling Huchong Dao. My surname is Dong Mingbo Fang, and I'm just wandering in the martial arts world. After a pause, I spoke again, Ling Huchong, you should take this pill first, and I'll take you to heal your wounds. Good brother Dong. Ling Huchong opened the porcelain bottle, took out 2 pills and swallowed them without any hesitation. Dongfang Bubi whispered, this guy is not afraid that I gave him poison. I really don't know how he survived until now. Alright. There's a clinic not far away here, I'll take you there to treat your injuries. Dongfang Bubi said and walked towards the door with his hands on his back and his head turned. Hey, brother Dong, I'm seriously injured and it's really difficult for me to move any further. Dongfang Bubi turned around and turned his head white. He glanced back and said, so what do you want? Ling Huchong touched his chin and said, why don't you carry me, brother Dong? Then he pretended to lie on Dongfang Bubi's back. Get lost. Love cannot cure. Dongfang Bubi interrupted his movements with a wave of his folding fan. Ling Huchong didn't say anything, just coughed hard a few times, and blood overflowed from the corner of his mouth. Dongfang Bubi frowned and eventually leaned down slightly, gesturing for him to come up. Next episode trailer. Ling Huchong's injury is too serious. Dongfang Bubi kindly took him for treatment. That wheat field once again sank her heart. Perhaps she hasn't realized that this time, it will be a lifetime. One kiss falls in love with one. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Occasionally, a cool breeze blew from the street corner, and the hard-working people had already fallen asleep. In the quiet late night, only the sound of the stray cat could be heard slowly. Dongfang Bubi walked leisurely with Ling Huchong on his back, his wounds occasionally dripping blood. Brother Dong, am I very heavy? Ling Huchong felt a bit bored and said. It's okay, said Dongfang Bubi, tightening his hands. It's just fine. Ling Huchong looked around and his gaze finally stopped at Dongfang Bubi's chest. Brother Dong, your pectoral muscles are so big, Ling Huchong said playfully. Dongfang Bubi stopped and lowered his head slightly, unable to see the expression clearly. Ah, a scream scared away the stray cat who was catching mice. It hurts so much, it hurts me so much. Brother Dong, what are you doing? Ling Huchong lay on the ground, moaning in pain. Just after he finished speaking that sentence, Dongfang Bubi hit his face with his arm and flew out upside down. I'm joking, why are you so serious? Ling Huchong rubbed his nose and said. Dongfang Bubi turned his back to him and said, can you try this joke again? The killing intent in the air gradually spread, and feeling the coolness around made Huchong shiver uncontrollably. Brother Dong, I was wrong. Hey, don't leave, wait for me. Ling Huchong walked up to Dongfang Bubi and paused before asking again, by the way, what did you grow up eating? You have so much strength, and your pectoral muscles are also. The killing intent in the air has reached its peak. After a stick of incense, Dongfang Bubi helped Ling Huchong to the clinic. At this moment, Ling Huchong was covered in blood stains, and his originally handsome face had already added a palm print. Linghu rushed forward and knocked on the door, but soon the wooden door was opened, leaving only a middle-aged man inside. The middle-aged man looked at Ling Huchong and frowned. This young man is not lightly injured. How did he get injured? Is it a knife wound, a sword injury, or a fall injury? Dongfang Bubi inexplicably rose up in anger, which made Huchong so injured that even discerning people could see it. However, this doctor was talking nonsense and really wanted to slap him. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Just get him treated quickly. Dongfang Bubi couldn't help but vent his anger. This young man can't say that. As a doctor, we must prescribe the right medicine. I don't understand how he got injured. What if he uses the wrong method, the middle-aged man said. Okay doctor, please treat me quickly. I'm in excruciating pain, my goodness. Ling Huchong grinned in pain. Come in quickly, two of you, I'll go get the tools. The middle-aged man quickly walked towards the inner room. Dongfang Bubi helped Ling Huchong into the clinic and found a chair to help him sit down, while he stood on the side. After a short space, little brother, your internal injury is not very serious, but the external injury is indeed very serious. You must use needle and thread to sew it up. Otherwise, you won't be able to recover in less than 100 days. However, using needle and thread to sew the wound is a bit painful. I wonder if you can bear it, little brother. The middle-aged man carefully examined Ling Huchong's injury and said. A good man who bleeds without shedding tears, a good man who is ambitious, even if his head falls off, it will only be a scar the size of a bowl. In any case, even if it hurts, I will hold it back. Doctor, let's take action. Ling Huchong said with a generous expression of dying. Dongfang Bubi looked at his incoherent expression and burst out laughing, quickly covering his thin lips with his delicate hands. Okay. The doctor didn't waste any time. As soon as he took out the needle and thread bag, he had to take action. As soon as the doctor stitched it up twice, Ling Huchong almost cried out in pain. He grinned in pain, looking as if he was holding it in for a while. Dongfang Bubi saw it in his eyes and also had a hint of concern in his heart. Hello doctor, can you handle it gently? Can't you see how much he hurts? Dongfang Bubi's tone was quite angry. That's all about sewing needles, like when Guaniri was back. Doctor. Don't listen to him, hurry up and sew up. The slower you swallow, the more painful I feel. After a pause, Brother Dong, can you tell a joke? Ling Huchong suppressed the pain and said. I don't know, said Dongfang Bubi Bujia. Do you know how to sing? In short, it can distract my attention. Fox Chong sweated profusely, his back already wet. Oh, let me give it a try. Dongfang Bubi frowned lightly. Just as Ling Huchong was about to cry out in pain, a burst of singing came from the medical clinic. Love me, okay, to shed all pride, the loneliness that cannot be hidden, waiting for no reliance. The rivers and lakes are turbulent, and the wind and rain are too swaying, greedy for your smile, forgetting the pain and taste. Dong, I actually know this song too. Love me, okay. I won't sing it anymore. Dongfang Bubi glared at him fiercely with a murderous gaze. Can she not be angry that Dongfang Bubi was interrupted while singing for the first time? Like a fire burning, how can we forget? Ling Huchong held his left cheek and looked at Dongfang Bubi, his eyes constantly blinking. Dongfang Bubi felt his scorching gaze towards him and instinctively turned his head away from him. Endless troubles are submerged in your arms. Dongfang Bubi glanced at him slightly, but happened to catch his gaze looking towards him. Her eyes met, and her face blushed one after another. 10 fingers tightly intertwined, running under the moonlight. Ling Huchong sang to her. I don't want anything, just love me. Dongfang Bubi wiped the sweat off his forehead with his hand, took a long sigh of relief, and thought to himself, I've finished singing. What the hell does Ling Huchong keep watching me for? After a moment, the two of them walked out of the clinic. Ling Huchong moved his shoulders and said, Brother Dong, I didn't expect you to be handsome and sing very well. Dongfang Bubi raised an eyebrow at him and said, what's the point? Just allow me to be handsome, so I must have the same duckling voice as you. Find Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. Dare you say I have a duck throat? Ling Huchong was unhappy. Dongfang Bubi gave him a blank eye and said, why, do you want to fight with me? How could that be? I appreciate you for not being able to do it in time. Ling Huchong shook the wine gourd around his waist and continued, Brother Dong, I'll take you to a good place, which happens to fit my current situation. Drinking. The tavern may have closed for most of the night, and your hopes are likely to be dashed, said Dongfang Booby with his hands on his back. Hee, just come with me. Ling Huchong grabbed Dongfang Booby's hand, confirmed the direction, and walked towards a certain place. In front of Dukong Tavern, Brother Dong, that's it here, but I still need your help. I'm injured and unable to move. Just take me to the roof, said Ling Huchong with a joyful expression on his face. Okay. Dongfang Booby grabbed Ling Huchong's waist and prepared to use his lightness skills to fly onto the roof, but Ling Huchong exclaimed, ouch. What's wrong, is the wound hurting again? Dongfang Booby asked with concern. No, it's because Miss Dongfang often pinches my right waist, causing me to still be bruised and bruised. Just hold my left side. Poochie ha ha ha. Dongfang Booby couldn't help but cover his mouth and chuckle lightly. What are you laughing at? Is there anything funny about it? Ling Huchong couldn't understand. Alright, I won't laugh anymore, ha ha ha. You're still smiling, but not to mention, you two look quite similar, Ling Huchong said, touching his chin. Where is it like? Dongfang Booby suppressed a smile and said. You two are so strong that you're going to die, hee, Ling Huchong chuckled. Dongfang Booby gave him a blank glance and said to himself, you idiot.